The price of Bitcoin is getting a nice start of the week with a nice little rally. So is this it? Was this a correction? And now we are going to go to all-time highs in the next coming days, if not in the next coming hours. Now, I need to give my apology on the previous stream. We were just very focused here on the potential of the price correcting from the previous all-time high of January and getting the rejection from the VWAP. And overall, the price did come to revisit the lows here from Friday. If you did get into this short, then eventually congratulations. I hope you did take profit because we are literally trading at the exact same level that we left here on Friday on the stream. So we are recovering. Let's talk about the different scenarios. And if you want to take a look at some trading setups with me later on the live stream, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's dive in right into it, guys, because I'm going to keep it really simple. Let's talk about the bullish case scenario. We have finished a corrective structure, and I was actually very interested in longing a position in this zone. I did not get into any shorts throughout Friday, and especially the weekend. I was interested. I was taking a look at this more as an impulsive move to the downside. So it was looking a little bit bearish, okay? I am interested in shorts, and I'm going to explain a little bit on where I would want to get into the shorts. Of course, if you did get into that short on Friday, I hope that you did take profit at the range lows. I missed out in taking that short position, even though I understood that this was resistance and we could be rolling down from this level, backtesting the previous all-time high and that VWAP. I missed the short position here, legends. However, I am in a long position from these lows because these lows right over here look incredibly interesting. Not only for the bullish case scenario, which would be an ABC corrective move. Now, I'm not really leaning massively on this scenario, but of course, we are in a bull market. So these corrections that look aggressive, it might look like an impulse. We want to consider still buying the corrective moves, the movements down at certain good levels is still definitely the option, right? Especially if we want to get into a hedge, into a short, right? Where we want to hedge long, we want to hedge short, we want to try and get into longs and shorts here, especially in this range where we understand that we could have a larger corrective move. Now, let's just explain the movement down from all-time high. Now, there is a chance for this to be your wave one. You have a running flat in your wave two, the big wave three that bounced to the golden pocket. This is why I was confident that the price was not going to break down from this range. Of course, I was expecting a corrective structure to then possibly break out. However, hitting the golden pocket on your wave four means that if you are going to retest the lows here, that you're very likely forming a contracting diagonal, which what happened, right? We formed a double bottom and we got the rally here in a three-wave structure. So as you can see, you got a five-wave move in your contracting diagonal. You got a three-wave structure here, potentially to label as your wave B, and then you have 5 waves to the downside, also with a running flat in your wave 4. This zone here, as mentioned yesterday in the Legends trading community, was very interesting to get into some long positions, regardless if it's going to be an ABC or a 5-wave structure, because there is a way of counting this as a 5-wave structure, and I'll explain right away in the next coming minutes. This zone is where you're finishing a potential correction ABC, or you are finishing a possible 5-wave move to the downside, right? Which is this one right over here. We are trying to break that previous all-time high. I was going to say if this does get the rejection and gets back below from the back test, okay, then this will be looking quite good for a short position, okay? However, if we break through that previous all-time high from January, it's going to be looking pretty good. We're going to talk about the next level where I'm looking for a possible reaction if we do not reject from this zone, where I would be interested in taking a short position. I'll explain in detail right away in the next coming minutes. Now, let's go right away through this scenario. This would be quite bearish, of course, because what we're looking at here is a impulsive move to the downside. And right now, we're just on the formation of the correction. Regardless if it's going to be like this, you form a larger ABC throughout the next 24 hours, or you're actually going to start rolling down from here very aggressively, which I don't think is not going to be the case, right? However, it could be a possibility. So what we're looking at here from all-time high, 1 2 1 2, double 1 2, meaning that you need 2 4 5s. You got the big move down in your wave 3, your 4 and 5, finishing that third wave in this contracting diagonal, and then you have the zigzag move throughout Saturday, and then the 5-wave move to the downside to complete your wave 5. So it's double 1 2, double 4 and 5, forming an impulsive move to the downside. Now, we have rallied pretty nicely here, and it does look quite impulsively, right? You got this nice little wave 1, your wave 3 pretty aggressively, and now you're forming your wave 5 formation, possibly in a contracting diagonal. You're going to start getting rejection. You might come up here to this point of control and get the rejection, but overall, we could be looking for a kind of a corrective structure in this zone, or maybe a possibility of a larger move to the downside. Now, let's just explain in detail the most important levels, okay? This is an important level. It's the previous all-time high where we got the back test here from Friday, as you can see here. Whoever got into the short, congratulations, but the lows is always a take profit zone, okay? You cannot afford to not take profit from this movement to the downside, especially when you get this reaction. You need to take the profit. I missed out on that short position, and I also missed out on this short position. I didn't trade throughout the weekend. However, yesterday, Sunday night, I was very much aware, analyzing the scenarios here for the Legends trading community. This is an awesome zone to get into a long position, regardless if this is going to be the double bottom, if we are going to get a contracting move here to the downside to complete your wave 5, because you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish your 5 wave, right? This zone is good for double, triple bottoms, all right? Because you could have a completed 5 wave structure to the downside, or potentially you do have an ABC movement. Of course, if this were to be an ABC movement, right? Very rare, very shallow for your C wave. I have to be honest here. It does not matter. I do not know. I know that we could bounce from this zone and get a significant rally of a couple of $1,000s. I want to be in that trade, regardless if it's this double bottom or the next double bottom. And this is why I entered a long position here on Bluffin at this double bottom range, ready to re-enter again, understanding the rally that could happen. Guys, if you are interested in trading, you do have Bluffin right now that is giving 50% cashback, okay? 15% cashback. Make sure to read here the conditions, all right? You do have the link down below in the description. It is the second link for Bluffin. And of course, you do have weeks as well with the awesome $30,000 deposit bonus and 25% fee reduction. On both of the exchanges, you just need an email and a password. No VPN needed, guys. I think you can trade almost anywhere in the world on these two exchanges. Let's dive in here, because right now we're breaking through that previous all-time high from January. Not back. We did get a little back test here, little consolidation, but it's looking pretty damn bullish. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It does look like we want to squeeze out. I'm going to talk about this rejection. I'm going to try and upload this as fast as possible, because the next big level is that naked point of control that we do have from this consolidation, as you can see from this range. Now, I would be a little bit cautious, guys. The market is still bullish, right? This could be a 3-wave structure. But overall, we want to understand the bearish case scenario as well. Where the price needs to reject for the bearish case, it has to be this 7/8 Fibonacci, which is literally where we have that naked point of control from this consolidation. That is sitting here at $110,800. As we back above the previous all-time high, I'm not interested in a short position right now. We're above the levels. Next level of interest would be this one right over here. If we would have rejected from this zone, I would have probably be interested in a short position and be very defensive, just realizing that, yeah, maybe this is impulsive. This is the ABC. We're going to correct here, and then we're rallying to the upside, okay? If we do reject, would still be interested in the short position on the rejection from this previous all-time high, okay? If we do continue rallying, the next level of interest would be that naked point of control with the 7/8 Fibonacci. This is kind of the last zone to get the rejection if this has to be some kind of a bearish impulsive move to the downside, which would be this one right over here, okay? 5-wave structure. We do not want to see the price eventually hitting the 0.88 or even the highs, right? We want to start rejecting at some point. 618. 618 is not managing to get that resistance, breaking above the level for the moment. If we reject, I would be interested in taking that short position, but we're getting above the level for the moment, so not interested. The moment we reject, I'm going to start be looking interested in that head short position. If we do continue to the upside, this naked point of control with a 7/8 Fibonacci is the zone that I want to see. If we get above it, not interested in the short. If we start consolidating local double top scenario, okay, getting rejection basically, would be interested in taking that short position to get a kind of a corrective structure, if not impulsive. We do not know, all right? So that is the major zone of interest. If the price does get rejection from here, I'm a little bit skeptical on taking a long position if we do move down, because there is a bearish case scenario. If we do take a look at the movement down, all right, if we do see this right over here as a 5-wave structure to the downside in an impulse, this could also be an ABC flat, okay? Because what you have here is a 3-wave structure, and here you have a double zigzag. Zigzag, okay? Correction, and a zigzag right over here to complete your B wave in this case, right? And this is forming an impulsive move to the upside to finish your C wave. Something interesting, okay? This is looking at this as an impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. ABC flat. We're getting up here. The most common zone here for your ABC flat is the 1.618 extension. That would be an expanding flat. If we take a look at the A wave here to the B wave and say that we are forming our C wave, then eventually what we would be looking at here is potentially the 1236138.2, which is at the naked point of control, and the most common one would be the expanding flat, which is hitting the 1.618 extension. Okay, let me just get that Fibonacci extension again, going from the lows to the highs here to these lows right over here, and now it makes a little bit more sense. I don't know what I did right there with the extension, but the 1.618 extension, okay, from this movement, if this were to be an ABC flat, and this is the impulsive move, it's right at the naked point of control and the 7/8 Fibonacci taken from the high to the low. Very interesting zone. I want to see some reaction. This would be the most important level for the bears to get the rejection, because once you cross this level, then it could be game on for the bulls to take out all-time high again, all right? So it's either rejection from the 1.618 extension, considering the flat scenario, the naked point of control, and also the 7/8 Fibonacci for this ABC flat, all right? Or it's actually getting the rejection here from the previous all-time high, and also seeing this as a potential running flat. This is why moving down here, if we do move down pretty aggressively, I would not be interested in a long position. I would look to short the trade, all right, if we do reject from this previous all-time high. If we start rejecting, I would be interested in snipering a short here, stop loss at the high, be defensive as you roll down, and that would be my next short position to hedge against my long position that I have from these lows over here. Just so you understand, a long position in this zone, regardless if it was a double or a triple bottom, was absolutely beautiful, just considering the ABC flat, or even considering the bearish case scenario, which you have a 5-wave structure, and you are looking for most commonly a movement up here to get above the 4th wave. So I was interested in this move right over here, and now I'm interested in the short position, understanding the bearish case. Rejection from this zone or rejection from this zone. Very carefully, stop losses above the highs of the rejection. Nothing too serious. We're not adding to position or any of that. We're trading safely. If you want to see what happens next, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We'll be doing a live stream later on. Thank you, legends, and I'll see you in the next one.